Okay, Seb, I think this is what we're gonna do. Do not break. Rusty, we trust you. In Rusty we trust, hey? Alright. Do not want to hit that marula, but you'll be able to see one of the cubs suckling from where you are. Just let me know when. Can you see them there? Yes! Alright. Seems like after match anticipation we managed to get here. What? What is not that great? Dylan, you've been spoiled. How cute are they? Hello? So this is one of the smaller ones. He's just busy suckling. I'm sure he's also on to meat now, and that's why all the mothers have got the little ones around here. I can count 3 cubs, 2 of the smaller ones, and I'm sure there's got to be a 4th one somewhere around, but unfortunately it's just around around too many trees, so it's hard to tell. And I can count, I think, 3 females. How many did you manage to count? I just don't know if that at the back that I'm seeing is a lung or another lion. But it seems like they managed to bring down a water buck during the night, and they've been busy feeding on it, and I am sure the little ones are just enjoying some really nice, wonderful mother time. Oh, isn't that precious? Properly asleep. I think the ones at the back are just starting to play. And there's the kill over there, so you see well tucked away underneath the trees, just to make sure that they can hide it away from, you know, any possible predators, any vultures that might start flying around. Doesn't seem like there's much left. I don't know if... Is there a lot of the kill left?
Yep.
Is there a lot of the kill left? Because I can't see much from here. Okay, not much. Alright. Brian, I believe you'd like to know if they have names. If I'm mistaken, Alice, please do correct me. But no, they don't have names as far as I know. When do they name them? It varies depending on every lodge. Normally, some areas don't name them at all. Some areas just, you know, they'll be part of a pride. If they're females and, you know, if they're the girls stay around, they'll be part of the Styx pride. Not necessarily will they have a name. And in some other areas, for example, if it's males and they form a coalition and eventually they survive into adulthood, then sometimes that's when people like naming them once they've made it, let's say, into the real world. So I don't think these cubs are going to be named anytime soon. A lot of the times people just don't like naming them just in case they jinx them, because they want to... One of the ranger superstitions is that if you name a cub before it gets into adulthood, it might not make it. It's got absolutely no scientific value, and it's, you know, just one of those things that gets said around here. But having said that, I mean, I don't think it necessarily affects them or gives them a better or a worse chance. But these ones over here, still not named. They're just, you know, the Styx cubs for the time being. And I'm sure for the next few months, that's exactly how we're going to know them as, if we do get to see them again, which I'm excited that we are, because they're so tiny and fluffy and pretty. I would say maybe about half the size of the Nkahumas. Nikki, the ears, I know, aren't they just super cute? So small, and you know, it's almost like their black is still starting to pop by. I think they're all pretty tired and sleepy. They're all just warming up right nicely next to their mothers, and it's just a very, very precious setting. I mean, look at that. Isn't that kind of like the pure proof of happiness? You know, it's got its mom, it's eaten, it's warm. I'm pretty sure this is lion cub heaven. So sweet. So, so sweet. I am sure, however, that as the sun starts going up, likely they're going to move a bit further into the drainage line, or just underneath the bushes of the tree where we almost saw that other lioness, just because where they are, there's no big tree. So they're not going to have a lot of shade throughout the day. So while the cubs might be able to get away with a bit of shade. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. Isn't that just gorgeous? Yeah, the Styx cubs are, I think the Nkuhumas, to be quite honest, are some of the best looking cubs I have ever seen. I really don't know how that pride has managed. It's just, you know, proof that those girls are doing a stunning job. But these little ones, they're looking quite healthy as well. Don't get me wrong. They're still smaller and they're not maybe as, you know, precious as the Nkuhuma ones. But from what I can see from here, they all look quite healthy. Oh, there's a fourth cub there at the back, another tiny one. And they all seem to be doing just fine. So I think we've also been spoiled with the Nkuhumas, but these guys, they seem to be fine. Maybe, you know, they just need better genetics. Look at that. Look how precious they are. Tristed, sleepy cat with full bellies indeed. I think that is the ultimate happiness for a lion, having a full belly and then being able just to sleep the day away. Which is exactly what I think these cubs are gonna do. Oh, hello. You see one of the bigger ones at the back? Big ears, a lot bigger than this tiny little heads that we're looking at. I think the one at the back is probably half the size of the Nkuhumas, and then the tiny ones that we're looking at, I mean, they're just a few months old. Maybe I would say 3-4 months old, so they're still quite small. Guys, I want to try and see before the other vehicle comes around if we can maybe take the spot where Dylan was, just to see if maybe we can have a bit of a more clear view of this lions. So just bear with me for 1 second. We're going to try to move around, see if maybe we can find a better view. I don't know if actually from here it'll even be better. I think while we try to find a better spot for you guys, why don't we go back to Taylor and see how she's doing. Yes, we have managed to find the lions from a bit of a different spot and just get a clear view of this pretty little face. Seems, however, like the female sustained some sort of an injury. I don't think it's anything to worry about, just one of those hunting things and kind of thing that happens. You see there on her back, just there seems to be some blood dripping from her, but like I said, I don't think it's anything too bad. It just looks like something superficial. And from this side, I'm not even 100% sure it actually belongs to her. Hello, little ones. So you see, there's one that's got a very full belly. Pretty full. Marissa, you'd like to know how many cubs in total? I've counted 4 small ones and then 1 bigger one. There used to be 2, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not 100% sure if the other bigger one, if I just can't see him because of the grass or if he's still around. As you can see, it's very hard to tell from here, and I can't unfortunately move anywhere else because there are a lot of branches in between us and the cubs, and I don't want to get too close to them because out of respect, I think they also deserve a bit of space, and they're just getting used to the vehicle, so we just want to show them as well that there's nothing to fear, and that when we come around, we're just gonna be here, make some noise, and then just pretty much leave them be. Very full bellies. Violet, you're wondering what animal would make a lion feel vulnerable or scared. Well, there are a couple of things around. Elephants, if elephants were to come around, they would definitely not feel that confident. Not because the elephant, would hunt them down, but just because it's a very big animal, it could potentially kill them. And elephants a lot of the times are not tolerant of lions being around, so they tend to chase them away. Another big problem for them is other lions, especially for this pride that they've got the younger cubs. They are particularly wary of other female prides because other female prides will try and maybe come and kill their cubs, and of other males unknown to the area. So, as we believe, these cubs were sired, or, you know, their fathers are the Birmingham boys. So they allow the Birmingham boys to come around if the Birminghams have pretty much accepted them as their offspring, and they won't give them any trouble, and they'll protect them and so on. But if another male were to come into the area, males that they don't know, then definitely that will make them feel very, very vulnerable, the females and the cubs. And likely if the females heard them roaring or caught their scent, then they would move the cubs into another area, a safer area, just away from everything else, just to make sure that they don't get killed or anything. And then, in terms of, for example, if the females were to leave the cubs on their own when they're very, very small, anything from like a baboon, leopard, hyenas, anything could try and, you know, get to them. But I think once they are adults, the things that they really fear the most are other lions, and of course we're all humans, because we have a knack for killing pretty much everything for any reason. So this point in time, I think those would probably be the ones. Dr. Hyena, you'd like to know how many hyenas it would take for to steal a kill from a pride of lions. It depends on how brave the hyenas are and how many lions. It's one of those things that, you know, there is no set rule. I have seen 2 hyenas try to steal a kill from 1 lioness, and they've successfully managed. I have seen, you know, 4 lionesses trying to take a kill, 4 hyenas trying to take a kill from a lioness, and they haven't managed to do that. So I think it depends on every single situation, how big the kill is, and what, you know, how many lions there are. But having said that, when we used to work at Simbambili, there was a very big clan of hyenas over there. I think at one point it was over 40 of them. And Tristan's got this fantastic video of, I think it's maybe about 15 hyenas chasing, I think it was even the Nkuhumas by then, and, you know, just chase them all and stole, I think it was a buffalo carcass. This was about maybe 2 years ago, and all of the lions ended up in trees, the hyenas at the bottom waiting for them. So you know, I would say it depends on every occasion. So you'll have maybe very, very strong hyena that feels empowered, and if it's 1-to-1 type of thing, it's maybe a hyena versus a leopard. Often the hyenas will just take the kill from the leopard. In this case, I reckon if hyenas were to come around, the lionesses will be very, very aggressive, very protective, not only of their kill, but also of their young cubs, because clearly they don't want any other predators coming to them. I don't think, however, they're too bothered by life right now. There's the one little fatty cub right next to the lug with a very, very big belly. Tran, how they build up their muscles? Well, just pure constant exercise and, you know, a healthy diet. So lions are often moving around, so they just, all the walking that they do, sometimes during the night, like this morning, we've seen their tracks walking pretty much all over the reserve, and I wouldn't be surprised if they've managed to cover, while going up and down, more than 10 k's in just a few hours. And in some areas they can cover even more. So, you know, just that constant exercise and then just looking for food and eating pretty much meat, which is what they eat, and not having any other things, that's, you know, protein builds muscle and exercise. So the more they eat, the healthier they are, the more muscle they can build up, and then the healthier they'll become, the more muscle they'll have. It's almost like, you know, this constant circle. They'll need to get one in order to get to the next one. We've got one of the other lionesses sitting right next to us, and I wonder if she's going to get up and go to the cubs. Seems like she's just busy grooming herself now. Yeah, no, I don't think we can, and we can't go any further, but I'm sure at one point... She's a smart one. I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of the pride at one point came and sat down just opposite of us, because it seems like this is where the shade's going to be the whole day. It's quite a nice morning. Yeah, look at that full belly. I think this cub really made a run for it as soon as the females brought down that water buck. Very, very full belly. It's probably a lot fuller than the smaller cubs, because you see, when lions get to a kill, it's not a sharing is caring type of environment. It's pretty much each man for itself. So they all try to eat as much as they can just to make sure that they're as healthy as they can be. So there's not a lot of happy family sharing. It's always like, I want that piece, give it to me. So sweet. Wouldn't even think that they're gonna become such big, fierce creatures when they're sleeping like that.
Lion.
Alright, we are gonna head to Taylor, who seems to have a very... We have managed to move around just to be able to have a look at that other lioness that we couldn't see earlier on because of the way we were parked, and she seems to be the only active one. She's busy grooming herself while the rest of the pride sleep away. We did manage to see the other older cubs, so definitely now I've lost count. How many did we see? 3 young ones, 4 young ones, and 2 older ones? I think that was the count. Worst case scenario, we'll just have another look. But the other older cub that I thought was missing was still definitely there, just sleeping underneath a lot of grass. Oh, we can hear lions. There's another male that's calling. It seems to be coming from Chitwa Dam side. I know one of the Birmingham boys was found there earlier on, but I'm not too sure if they eventually moved into a drainage and the guys couldn't follow him anymore. But they've definitely been calling, and that's when she stopped and she looked up and she started listening. But clearly nothing to be really worried about, as she very likely just recognized who it was that was calling. Interesting. Seems like the lions had a very entertaining night last night. Reggie, the distance to keep between a vehicle and lions pretty much depends on the lion. A lot of the times, I normally like to keep maybe a few meters between us, but I've had them pretty much sleeping on the shade of a vehicle, and that's because they approach the vehicle and they feel comfortable. So I always kind of give them the choice that you are close by and they'll let you know how close is close. So if they carry on doing whatever it is that you were doing or that they were doing and they don't look up to you, then you know that you're in their comfort zone. You're not in their comfort zone, actually, and they're feeling quite happy. So it depends on every single occasion and what they've got. Where we were earlier on, if you were watching earlier, we didn't want to get too much closer to where the kill was, because I think that would have been a bit too close for comfort for the females, because then we would have been pretty much on top of their kill with the cubs there. So rather, there are certain situations where you've just got to read what's happening and what's going on. In the case of lions with cubs and a kill, you don't really want to be parked right on top of them. And I also feel like it's not right just to be so close to the animals. You've got to give them a bit of a breathing space, so that if they don't want you that close, they'll let you know by just walking away in some other direction. But I think we are very lucky with the lions in the Sabi Sand. They've pretty much learned to ignore the vehicles since they're cubs. So they're quite tolerant with us being at a fair distance. So I think we are maybe about 3 meters from this particular lioness, and we're just behind her and she hasn't really looked at us once. So I'm pretty sure she's quite happy where she is. Like I said, if it were lions hunting on the other side, like yesterday morning when we had them hunting buffalo, then there you definitely want to keep a much bigger distance between you and them, just because buffaloes are very big animals and sometimes they can run in every direction, and the last thing you want is one of these animals to actually come straight to you. Oh, hello. Yeah, going back to the rest of the pride. Let's just go forward. I I have a strong feeling that this is the mom of the older cubs. Carrying on, carrying on. Nikki, you'd like to know which baby animal out here has the best childhood? It's tough to say, hey? I think that lions have a very good childhood. I'm just gonna stop here just to give her some space if she wants to go to the kill. I think pretty much all of them do. If you think about it, they all just get food brought to them and they get to play around, and you know, they have other siblings. It's just when the childhood is finished, some of them are worse than others. I think being a lion is a very tough life. It's not easy once they have to start making things happen for themselves. Oh, okay, that was it. You just wanted some company. I think maybe baby hippos have a very good life because they get to play in the water all the time and, just come in and out. The mothers protect them, so I don't know. I think maybe hippos, I love being in the water and swimming, so I think that's maybe why I think probably the hippos have the best time around. Sorry, I just thought I heard the lion roaring again. But it seems he's gone quiet now. Hello girl, this is the one that we're looking at, the one that seems to have that injury on her back. And well, clearly hunting and antelopes have very big horns and, they can kick quite hard. So it'll happen every now and again that they'll get a few scars or bumps or bruises just, by trying to survive. But I don't think it's anything to worry about. Still looking quite good. Hello girl. This is a very funny, typical lion face when they're here, but they're not quite here because they want to fall asleep, but they don't really want to. It's almost like they're fighting this endless sleepy battle. Wonder. I'm just going to try and going slightly forward. See if maybe we can... Madison, Ellies have the best childhood. I think so. I don't know if the best, but probably one of the best. They have very big mothers that look after them. Ah, there's a third lion there. Hello, we hadn't seen you. Just in front of us. I actually, for a second there, thought it was a warthog. Because I could just see a very dark thing. Ah, well hello, we didn't know you were there. It is amazing, like when we first got here, we were parked on the other side. Ah, here's another female maybe going to her. Okay, look, that's the wound over there that she's got. I don't think she's looking all that bad. She must clearly be the mother of the little ones, because I can see very big suckle marks on her. And I'm sure she's just heading towards that other female. I'm gonna let the lions play it out. I think she's just gonna maybe go towards her sister. And alright, let's just rather stay with her for a little longer, see what she does. But you see, there just seems to be a bit of a puncture wound in there. I don't think it's anything that a lion needs to particularly worry about. She seems to be in quite fair condition. I'm sure Let's just see what this lioness does, and if she goes and says hello to the other one there, because I wonder if these two start moving around, if the rest of the cubs... Ah, look at her full belly moving from side to side. Indeed, there's a third one going, moving around. It's quite funny, because now she's quite alert. I'm sure that it's part of the same pride, but she's just not 100% sure. See, very typical lion. The ones... See, they've just both stopped close to where that third lioness was. Oh, and we have a naughty cub that wants to follow the mothers. And there comes, oh, look how tiny they are. In a kill, lion cubs tend to be with their mothers. It depends. If they're females, they're very likely stay in the pride that they were born in, so they're not gonna move off and go somewhere else. But the life for the boys is a bit tougher. So for the boys, when they're about maybe 2 years old or so, depending on different prides and areas and everything else, likely they'll be pushed away from their pride by the mothers, and then they'll have to go and pretty much make it on their own. Those are very determined cubs, you know, trampling the grass and moving around. Ah, there goes the third cub going on to them. Fourth cub. Ow, ow. That's how they go looking for family. And there's a fifth cub coming around, one of the older ones. Precious are having a bit of a panic attack because they can't see the mothers in the tall grass. Oh, there's bundles of fluff. I can hear the lions contact calling. I'm sure there's another lion here that we haven't seen. Yo, this is a very fat cub. Look at that round belly. Okay, and cub number 6, definitely walking around. Go ahead, Ralph. I don't think this cub could have fit any more meat in its stomach. It looks positively uncomfortable. I wonder what's got them all up. I don't think it can even walk. I mean, look at that belly. There's a mother there waiting for the last one. What you looking at? Lauren from Illinois, welcome. You'd like to know how old the lions in this pride are. I'm not too sure, to be quite honest. This is not a pride that I've seen often, so I'm just going to ask for some help for our very long time viewers or anyone else that's got a bit of an idea of how old these are. Please just let us know using the hashtag #SafariLive. My guess is that they're between 8 and 10 years old, but they could be slightly older. I'm not 100% sure. So if anybody wants to just let us know how old they are, we'll be happy to share it and happy to know just how old they are. I wonder if they're moving away because they heard this male lion roaring and they're just a bit wary. No? Are we just stopping there for the day? That's what's happening. See, there seems to be, they're not really stressed, or there's something that's, you know, that's a pressing matter for them, but they're not fully relaxed like they were before. So the fact that they've moved into thicker ground, they've left the kill around here. Also, there isn't too much left of the kill. So there's clearly something that they're somewhat wary of. Doesn't present itself as a real threat just yet, but clearly something they want to have a closer look at. Ah, there's a cub coming to the mother. Rumpelstiltskin channel, 11.5, I think I heard. That's how old they are, so they're quite senior for the lion world. Oh, you're coming back. I thought you were going down the drainage line. Still looking in very healthy condition, and it depends on lions. Normally, the females will live until they're about maybe 12, 15 years of age, and the males between 10 and 12, depending on, you know, the pride takeovers and, you know, food resources and water and climate and so on. But normally, I would say maybe 10 to 15 for the females. can't hear the lion roaring again, but she's clearly up to something. She seems to be smelling something now. Isn't that amazing? Just that, we know we're there, but imagine how easily it would be to just drive past them and not see them. I think this is the time of the year where lions really, really have the upper hand, at least for all of us color-seeing creatures, because they can just hide so well. And there's clearly something in the air that she's sniffing, because every now and again she keeps popping her head up, and there's something there that she can definitely smell. I wonder if she's... To go, you'd like to know how many cubs does a lioness normally have. So in general cases, it's normally between 1 to 4. So in this particular pride, we've got, if I'm not mistaken, one lioness that's got 4, and then another one that's got the 2 older ones that we see moving around. So I think this lioness that we're seeing just in between the bushes over here is a bit of a tough thing, but I think she's contact calling. I don't know if it's us moving. The 2 older cubs that are just busy moving in front of us, she seems to be the mother of them. We're gonna see what these lions are up to, and we're just gonna let it play it out. And while we sit here patiently waiting for them, let's go back to Taylor and see how she's doing. Right, it seems like now they've decided to come and feed on the kill. How amazing is that? Weren't quite too sure of what she wanted to do, but in the time that we've been with Taylor, the one female, the one that we saw walking around, hiding behind the bushes, she's now dragged the rest of the carcass underneath the tree. And sometimes they do this for a couple of reasons. Well, it is starting to get quite warm. I am down to just 2 shirts and 1 jersey now. And so as the sun starts shining, then it's going to make everything a lot hotter. So they also want to prevent the meat or what's left of the kill from rotting too quickly. I see the little ones are hearing that there's feeding going on, so they're all coming back. We can hear some growling from the female to the cubs. So yeah, so they will hide the kill just to, prevent the sun from rotting the meat too quickly, but also it's a good way if anything else comes around. The kill is hidden, it's harder to find it. From other lions, other maybe vultures flying around, spotting the kill and coming down and trying to mob them away. Hello, little one. Little ones. Some vehicles around, so I wonder. All of them coming back in. Oh, hello. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cubs here, and then just the 1 female. And it's funny because the tiny little cubs are still a bit scared, so they've gone to the sides of the kill where you can see those ones, just trying to get some of the meat, but the female is constantly growling at them, as if giving them a warning. Sorry, just hear another. Hello, little one. Looking quite pretty. All of them around here together. I think we've got somebody else that's come to join us in the sighting. All of them around here. Sorry guys, was just trying to give some sort of indication to Heli where he could park so that he could see them. I think they're all having a very good time feeding in there. She didn't really make it easy for all of them. She just dragged it in where the sun doesn't really shine. And now they're all in there. Look at all those tiny little heads popping up. I am very impressed with the older cubs. They're the ones that are feeding pretty much on their ribs. And I didn't think it was possible for them to put any more meat in their stomachs. Clearly I was wrong, because they're all fighting for the last scraps. When she picked it up, we could see that there wasn't too much in there. Not too much left. I think they're going to carry on feeding around here. It seems to be all quite peaceful. So while they're happy having breakfast, let's go over to Brent and see if maybe we can tick off a new bird from our Mara list. Still feasting indeed. They seem to be having a blast. Just the one female feeding and all of the little cubs all over. Just having a bit more of the meat. It is funny because every now and again the female has to, you know, set her foot down and just tell them who's the boss of the table, because they get a bit naughty and I think they start feeding off where she wants to feed, so she'll growl at them and then they'll move out very quickly and you see cubs scattering and coming outside and then they go back inside and then start feeding again. Nice big stretch. I think they're all just too full, but they can't stop feeding. It's just, you know, it's almost like too good. That water bug is too tasty. Look at that fat belly on the corner there. These are very happy little cubs. These females have done very well because they are looking very, very full. So I'm sure they'll be nice and happy throughout the day. Oh, I see another lion moving around. Probably one of the other females that we saw earlier just coming around. So I'm sure she's eventually going to make her way to us. So no need to stress. She's just a hen where they were first lying down. Sorry, she just caught the corner of my eye, but I'm sure no need to stress. She's just a hen where they were first lying down. Sorry, she just caught the corner of my eye, but I'm sure no need to stress. She's just a hen where they were first lying down. Sorry, she just caught the corner of my eye, but I'm sure no need to stress. She's just a hen where they were first lying down. Sorry, she just caught the corner of my eye, but I'm sure no need to stress. She's just a hen where they were first lying down. Sorry, she just caught the corner of my eye, but I'm sure no need to stress. She's just a hen where they were first lying down. Sorry, she just caught the corner of my eye, but I'm sure no need to stress. She's just a hen where they were first lying down. Sorry, she just caught the corner of my eye, but I'm sure no need to stress. She's just a hen where they were first lying down. Sorry, she just caught the corner of my eye, but I'm sure no need to stress. She's just a hen where they were first lying down. Sorry, she just caught the corner of my eye, but I'm sure no need to stress. She's just a hen where they were first lying down. Sorry, she just caught the corner of my eye, but I'm sure no need to stress. She's just a hen where they were first lying down. Sorry, she just caught the corner of my eye, but I'm sure no need to stress. She's just a hen where they were first lying down. Sorry, she just caught the corner of my eye, but I'm sure no need to stress. Everything's gone. You know, they're like a swarm of ants, all of them going back together to the kill. And I think this is going to give the little cubs a good chance of trying to reposition and maybe getting to the spot where the female was lying down that seemed to have a bit more meat. So I think all in all it worked in their favor. Hello, girl. See the little cub at the back fiercely eating and just trying to grab the last pieces of meat that are attached to the rib cage. I'm sure she's not too impressed at the fact that the cubs, have now stolen her spot, and maybe she's looking around. She does look quite regal looking like that, doesn't she? We might have another lioness quickly joining the meal. She's just gonna come into our field of view very soon. There she goes. Are you also gonna have a bit of a bite? Let's just hear this. How amazing is all this growling?
What was the bumper? What is the bumper?
This is such an amazing sighting. I love it. Normally, when lions, and especially when the other female came around, the female that was already feeding, she started growling and just letting her know that, she's not too happy with her feeding around. And there was quite a lot of tension, and you can hear all the cubs, just making their funny little noises just because they're also in between. So they want to carry on feeding, but they know that there's some tension going on. Instead, yes, they are fighting for the last bits. There isn't too much left. I think just a little bit of meat still attached to the ribcage that we can see, and maybe odd pieces here and there, but there isn't much left at all. I don't think, I'm pretty sure by this afternoon they would have finished it off, and there won't be much left. So as the food starts getting less and less and less, then obviously they start fighting for the scraps and everything that's there, and that's why that female was growling at the other one and all of the cubs, because she also wants to eat, so she wants to make sure that she doesn't eat more. I think right now that female is just having a bit of a dominance contest, if I can put it that way. There's a little cub that just ran away with the tail. She's holding onto the kill. I don't think she's feeding. She's just pretty much letting it known that that is her spot, her kill, and she's going to finish that last bit. The dominance between lions is very, very strong, and they're always ready to just let each other know who's actually in charge, especially when it comes to a meal. Still lots of growling going on. Nancy, it's getting hot. Definitely have started to take off some of the jerseys that I put on this morning. And during the day we have a wonderful temperature. It's normally enough for us to have short sleeves and go around in shorts. But early morning, late afternoon, when the sun is still not shining and it's not up and bright, it is very, very, very cold. This morning I think it was 12 degrees and 54 Fahrenheit, so it was quite chilly for all of us, especially with the wind. But I think it's, as you can see, all of the lions are underneath the shade, so it's not the best visual for them, but they're in there precisely because it's not as hot as how it is out here where there's absolutely no shade. There's the growling again, and even the little ones are growling now. All those lion heads in there.
Better for exposure to do that.
Wonderful.
Because the grass is rough. And also some of those whitish branches.
There's a little cub that's walking around with a piece of skin. I think you can see it there too. He's just busy eating it. Yep, that's the one. And every now and again, I'm sure he feels like a real tough big lion, because he will walk around with this piece of hair in his mouth. You see, and even the little ones like sharing. That is my toy. I'm playing with it now. Rawr. Very interesting part of the social relations between lions. They have such incredible bonds with each other, and they will fight for each other and just look after each other. But when it comes to the dinner table, then it doesn't really matter. Then everybody's just got to fight for their own. He is moving around. Guys, we're gonna give some space to other vehicles that want to come and have a look. I think we've had a fantastic sighting with these lions this morning, and we're very, very happy to see them. And while we try to make our way out of here, let's go to Taylor and see how her search for the cubs is going. There.